It's always fun talking to you, Don. Good to see you again. Happy
And
New
you,
Year.
Henry, as well.
Whatever next is my kind of opening gambit for you.
Well, I mean, this year is a big year for our family. The centenary of my grandfather first christening a car Bluebird in 1912. He was watching a play called The Bluebird of Happiness, and he was so enamoured with this play that he decided that his next car was going to be called Bluebird. So on the way home, he woke up the local ironmonger, bought every tin of blue paint that he could find, painted his race car blue, drove it back down to Brooklands, and christened the car Bluebird and won his first race. So from that moment onwards, everything was Bluebird.
Is this an official colour? Is there a very specific...
No, there isn't a specific blue. I mean, if you look back at all of the vehicles that my grandfather and my uncle drove, they're different shades of blue. And when the Bluebird boat came out of Coniston, nearly 10 years ago now, and the paint colour has different layers, and they're all different shades of blue. But we are now looking at the tail fin of Bluebird K7 as the last official coat of paint on the boat, and that Bluebird blue will now be the official Bluebird blue.
I think I've told you this before, but when I first went to Coniston, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever done. It's eerie and haunting in the extreme.
Absolutely.
It was 45 years ago, wasn't it? Last week.
It is, yes.
And it's making me go funny now. It's just weird.
It is a funny place. Yes, I have very mixed feelings of it. Obviously, seeing Donald crash there, I was too young to be there, but seeing the footage still sends a shiver down the spine. And every time I've been there, it's been raining, apart from once, which was the 30th anniversary of his crash, and the sun was shining. But it's always a damp, dreary place. I suppose knowing what happened there makes it a bit more eerie for me.
I guess because of the family connections with Sir Malcolm and Donald, you must have felt some sort of calling to uphold the family honour, to continue the legacy, to be involved?
Yes, I think as soon as I was old enough to appreciate what my family had done, I did become drawn to it and wanted to know more. I was too young to appreciate when my uncle was killed, what he'd been doing, and my grandfather. And yes, I have been drawn to it, and it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I really had the drive and determination to try and break some records. And the electric car was the first logical record to go for.
Was being part of the family history a help or a hindrance when you started to knock on doors?
I think initially it was a bit of a hindrance, especially having a different surname as well. Whilst I'm christened Donald after my uncle, I've obviously got my mum's married name, which is Wales. I mean, she's obviously the daughter of Sir Malcolm, so I'm definitely still the bloodline, but Don Wales doesn't have quite the same ring as Don Campbell, perhaps. And there was a time when a sponsor did ask me to change my name to make it easier to raise funding. But I'm immensely proud of both sides of my family, both the Campbell and the Wales, and there was no way I was going to disown my father and change my name. Some people have suggested maybe hyphenating it, but I think that's a bit of a cop-out. So I'm going to stick with Wales. I'm very proud of both. So I think now it's become more of an interest for people that there is another generation of Campbells going for records. And in August of last year, we took that to the 4th generation with my son attempting a record.
You've got steam-powered records. How quick was that one?
The steam record was 148.
Okay. That's an official world record, isn't it? That's a Guinness recognised world record.
No, it's an FIA world record. That record had stood for 100 years before we broke it with the British steam car team.
That's amazing. And you also drove the world's fastest lawnmower into the Guinness Book of Records.
Guinness Book of Records for that one, yes. I got invited by a very good friend who works at Bewley to drive his lawnmower. And we did 87 miles an hour as an official world record with a peak speed of 94 miles an hour.
I bet it didn't cut the grass very well, did it?
It cut
slightly uneven.
It cut the grass very well, because that was part of the rules.
Just whip the top off. Yeah.
We had to prove that we could cut grass. But funnily enough, the American who then went and beat our record, I had to prove that he could cut grass. And he put a little piece of turf in the middle of Bonneville, nice white salt, put a bit of green turf in the middle of it, and he drove his lawnmower over it. He didn't cut it, he obliterated it. And this piece of turf just scattered all over Bonneville.
I can sort of empathise, because many years ago I did the Wisborough Green 12 hours. on my old Tecumseh tractor and flat out at 35, if you're lucky. But terrifying when there's 100 of them in the dark and the lights don't work. And
you're getting your back and bum shaken around without any mercy at all.
Brilliant. So now the big focus is the electric speed record, which stands at 300 miles an hour. How's it going?
Well, I mean, this year is an important year for us. We want to have another go at the UK record. We're looking at various options to do that. I think the streamline car that we took to Pendine last year is probably going to be retired. Not helped by the fact that my son was hedging and ditching on Pendine Sands and did break it. So we need to look at that very carefully. But the overall aim is to get a UK record of about 150 miles an hour this year, and then look at the technology that we're going to be using for that to then go into a world record car for 2013 or 14 and attempt over 400 miles an hour. And if we can be the world's fastest Bluebird, which is electrically powered, then I'll be a happy boy. I need the world record first, though.
So your grandfather did 300 in Bluebird.
300,
Uncle Donald did 400.
403. So we need to do 404 just to be the world's fastest Bluebird. And that would be a hell of an achievement to have that in an electric car. I think my uncle and my grandfather were very forward-thinking. Whilst they were using combustion engines and jet engines, they were forward-thinking in their day, and I think they could see that an electric car is forward-thinking for us today as well.
That's quite some technology, though, isn't it, required to do 400 miles an hour?
It is,
sitting on a
definitely.
giant battery.
Yes, lots of giant batteries. But, I mean, the guys who have designed the car for me have actually said that they think they can go faster than that. If I can get 400, then I'll be very happy, and then see where we go. There's a lot of technology that needs to be invented for us to go a lot faster than that with electric cars, and there's people who are out there today making all sorts of claims that they can go with UK speeds. Thing is, we've already done it. We have got the UK record. We are still the UK record holder, and I'm glad that there are other people sort of following in our wake and following our lead.
You were telling me backstage that no one's beaten that in 12 years, which surprises me because the way technology moves on. I mean, look at sports cars and single-seaters from 12 years ago. They're almost agricultural compared with the current stuff. And it surprises me that no one's broken it.
It surprises me as well. I mean, 12 years ago is a long time ago in any field, but with the leaps and advances we've got going on at the moment with electric cars and people making claims that they can do 150 miles an hour, it's there. It should be relatively easily done, but it's sustaining it for that measured mile. I'm hoping that we can achieve 150 and take it forward, but 12 years is a long time, and I'm sure there are people out there who are eyeing that record up.
We've been talking a lot over the course of the last day and a half here on the stage about how important British industry is and how Britain leads the way in motorsport engineering. Have you found a lot of love and support from the specialist manufacturers and engineering boffins for your projects?
To be honest, we have struggled a little bit. We're not a wealthy project. I earn my living as a photographer. I don't make money out of the record breaking at all. It costs me money, it costs me time. It's nearly cost me a marriage. It's certainly cost me a house at one time, living in a small house. So we are a small team, and getting out to people and British industry to help support us, we don't have that big clout that some of the bigger teams have. Whilst you talk to people, they go, it's a fantastic project, and how can they help? And a lot of people do come on board and help. And I'm hoping for the world record car that we will suddenly get the attention that we need.
How can people get involved? How do we find out more about it, and how do we could log on to the website? And
Yes, we have a fantastic website at bluebirdspeedrecords.com, and there's an area there you can log in to say how you can help us. I would like us with Bloodhound to be seen as UK PLC, leading the world for the world record for 1,000 miles an hour, leading the world record for an electric car. We need help. We need British industry, British motorsport to get behind us. We need to make ourselves more available as well, I guess. Because of having to earn a living as a photographer, I can't devote every minute of the day to record breaking, which is a problem for us.
It's a fantastic venture, really exciting, and I look forward to hearing in 12 months' time, or sooner, the latest developments. We wish you well.
Thank you very much, Henry. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Good man. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Wales. Thanks, Don.